Well, you know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but not this time. I'm going to spill all the tea. Well, actually just all the tea on the new audio releases at the National Association of Broadcasters Convention 2026. So why don't you come with me, we'll peruse the floor, and we're going to see what's up. Let's go. One NAB 2026 announcement that came maybe a little out of left field is Blackmagic Design's Fairlight Live. Now, this is a free software mixer. It's an application that you can download from their website. And essentially, instead of using a hardware mixing console, you could use Fairlight Live to mix your live stream. So everything from simple audio podcasts to a podcast with video, to a church live stream or a house of worship live stream, or to a streaming show, you can mix the audio for this on Fairlight Live. Now, Fairlight Live can accept a variety of inputs. It uses a core audio driver for Mac and ASIO for Windows. So that means that you can bring in audio via USB-C or Thunderbolt. You can also bring it in via the SMPTE 2110 protocol for those of you in pro broadcast environments. Or you could even use something like Dante Virtual Sound Card. Once you have that installed on your computer, you can use that as an input source. So that's great news for houses of worship that maybe have a Dante network already set up. Be very easy to integrate this application into your live stream mixing. In addition to all of those audio protocols that I just mentioned for inputs, Fairlight Live can also accept audio input from Blackmagic's ATEM switchers, and there are also templates available there if you're using an ATEM switcher to make it super easy to set up. On the mixer side, Fairlight Live can accommodate a variety of audio formats. It can handle mono, stereo, LCR, 5.1, all the way up to other immersive formats as well. You've got very robust panning controls for all of those formats. And in terms of plugins, Fairlight Live comes with its own native suite of effects that are native to the platform, but you can also run third-party VSTs, and if you're on a Mac, you can run AU plugins, and you can host up to 24 of them on a channel. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, you'd want to have a pretty powerful computer to do that, obviously, but all of this happens at very, very low latency. There's a variety of buses available in the application. So you've got effects buses, there are submix buses, there's Q buses, and then there's also mix minus capability. You also have the ability to save snapshots, so you can recall those instantly inside your production. So you could have a snapshot for the opening, a snapshot for a different part of the program, and switch between those. Fairlight Live also has the capability for running a failsafe mode, so you can run it on two computers at once, and if your main computer goes down, it will automatically switch over to your secondary computer. There's also a virtual soundcheck recording capability, so you can make setup super easy, basically. Fairlight Live has a dedicated cue player, so you can insert stingers and sound effects easily into your production. And in terms of controlling the application, you've got options. You can use your mouse and your keyboard, obviously. You can also use any other MCU protocol controller, so that's the Mackie control protocol. So any other control surface that incorporates MCU, have at it. Or Blackmagic just introduced 3 new control surfaces for Fairlight Live. There's the Audio Panel 10, the Audio Panel 20, and the Audio Panel 40. And those all feature motorized faders and other encoders. The Audio Panel models feature a 1/4-inch headphone output as well as XLR left and right line outputs. There's a headset input and a mic input. So those are going to facilitate talkback if you want to have communication with your crew. So that's just a very quick overview of the Fairlight Live software and the Fairlight Audio Panel 10, 20, and 40 control surface models. We're going to take a wander and see what else we can find here at NAB 2026. Just before the 2026 NAB show, RØDE announced a slew of products. They announced some software, some hardware, as well as some accessories. Now, some of that stuff has been covered by my esteemed colleague, Nicholas Brigadier, on the B&H main YouTube channel. But for the Pro Audio channel, I'm going to be focusing on a couple of key announcements that they made. The first one is the RØDE Link 2 UHF wireless system. This system features 2 transmitters and a dual channel camera mount receiver. It's capable of recording 32-bit float simultaneously while broadcasting wireless. And about a year ago, RØDE acquired Lectrosonics, who are a premier wireless manufacturer. And they have some advanced technologies that are filtering down now into RØDE's products. So at the heart of the RØDE Link to UHF system is Lectrosonics radio and the Lectrosonics codec. And that brings some benefits for creators as well as audio professionals. The way that this radio manages the frequencies for the audio wireless transmission is that for each channel 1 and channel 2, it assigns 2 frequencies to that channel. And it's going to hop between whichever one is the most powerful depending on the environment that you're in, which guarantees that you're going to just have the most robust signal at your receiver. The system also features adaptive output power. Now here I'm speaking in terms of the RF output. And what that means is that the system is going to broadcast using a low RF power output as much as possible to save you on battery life. But when needed, depending on the environment, the power can be upped to a maximum, I believe, of 50 milliwatts, which is pretty powerful. So that's going to give you more transmission range and more ability to combat interference. The radio is capable of broadcasting all the way from 470 megahertz up to 616 megahertz, and you just put in whatever region you're operating in, and the radio will adjust to the frequencies that are allowed by the governing body in that region. You can also control the system via the RØDE Central app, which actually can give you full manual control over the RF environment if you wish. So perfect for location sound mixers who want to get more granular and really have control over the way that they're broadcasting via the system. Or if you're looking for a simple user interface, the RØDE Link 2 offers that as well, making it a perfect choice as well for solo shooters, filmmakers, documentarians. So it covers a wide range of use cases. Now, the other RØDE announcement that I want to focus on is their Sonora microphone technology. This is a MEMS microphone system. That stands for Micro Electromechanical Systems. So basically, it's a very small microphone that's put on a semiconductor chip. It's manufactured with that same technology. They have a partnership with Infineon, a semiconductor manufacturer. So it's basically the same technology that you're going to find running your laptop, but in a microphone capsule. MEMS microphone technology is nothing new, but RØDE have kind of, I guess you could say, refined it with the Sonora design. Each Sonora capsule actually features 2 of these MEMS elements, and each one of them is a dual diaphragm technology. So there's 2 diaphragms sandwiching a backplate. So that's giving you actually 4 membranes. And the reason that that is important here is that has allowed the RØDE engineers to lower the self-noise and the signal-to-noise ratio of the Sonora capsules. So we've got an 83 dB signal-to-noise ratio and 11 dBA of self-noise. So these microphones are very, very quiet. The Sonora capsules are waterproof, and the MEMS element is virtually flat from 25 hertz all the way up to 20 kilohertz, which allows the RØDE engineers then to tune the capsules for different applications. The first release of a microphone featuring a Sonora capsule is the Lectrosonics L1 lavalier. So let's wander on over there and take a look. So I just left RØDE and have come over to Lectrosonics to see the L1, which is the first microphone from the Friedman group of brands to incorporate RØDE's Sonora technology. As we just learned over at RØDE, the Sonora capsules have a self-noise of 11 dBA, which is pretty remarkable for a microphone that size. And it's pretty much on par with a high-end studio mic. So having that in a lav is a big deal, really, because that's going to allow for capturing even whisper quiet dialogue in any type of production with clarity and without the noise. This is being shown here with the DSSM transmitter. This was a release from maybe a year or 2 ago, and it's a fully waterproof transmitter. Lectrosonics actually has a display here where they have an L1 and a DSSM connected, and they're submerging it and bringing it out of the water because the L1 is totally waterproof as well. Now, typically sound mixers are going to have at least two lavaliers, a higher sensitivity one and a lower sensitivity one, and choose between those depending on the volume of the dialogue or the scene that's being recorded or the environment that they're in. With this combination of the L1 and the DSSM, that's not necessary because the DSSM transmitter has a sensitivity mode. So you can choose the sensitivity that you want. It doesn't insert a pad into the line. It actually changes the gain structure of the microphone. So that's an added benefit of using this combination here. Tuning wise, the L1 comes with two caps that sort of change the flavor of the mic a little bit. The standard one features a slight lift between 8K and 20K of maybe a couple of dB, while the second cap has a more drastic boost, more like 6 dB between 10K and 14K, and the use case for that would be if the mic is hidden under clothing. And the standard cap that comes with the L1 is designed to be a very, very close match to the new S1 supercardioid shotgun microphone. This microphone features an RF bias capsule. It's extremely lightweight. It's made of aircraft aluminum. It weighs only 78 grams, which is virtually nothing. The capsule has a self noise of 10 dBA, which complements the L1's 11 dBA very well. And again, the on-axis frequency response of this microphone is designed to match very closely to the L1, so you can cut between those microphones in post without the need to use any real EQ. So let's go and take a wander and see what else we can find at NAB 2026. I took a stroll over to the Deity booth. Right before NAB, they announced the PR4, which is a 4-input, 6-track, 32-bit float recorder that's capable of recording sample rates up to 192 kilohertz. So as I mentioned, it's a 4-input, 6-track recorder, so that means you can record 4 discrete inputs along with a stereo mix. In terms of inputs, there are 2 XLRs that are combo jacks, so you've got a line option as well there. Those XLRs can also accept AES32 and AES42 inputs, and then there is an 1/8-inch mini jack there for the other 2 channel inputs. So this is a true 32-bit float recorder. It features dual analog to digital conversion, and after those converters, you can add up to 60 decibels of gain in the digital domain. The unit has 2 balanced or 4 unbalanced outputs, and you can see that we've got this color screen here with a really helpful and functional user interface. And the PR4 has wireless timecode as well. Basically, it will operate as a TC1 on the set. So when you push record here, it's going to push timecode wirelessly to all other Deity timecode compatible devices. The PR4 does have a built-in auto mixer, but it can also connect to the Citus app to give control on your phone over the faders, to edit the metadata, and to input notes about a take. And incidentally, I was just told that the Citus iPad app just dropped. So if you're an iPad user, you can take advantage of that as well. In terms of media, the PR4 records onto SD cards, but it does also have its own internal SSD, 64 gigabyte SSD, so you can record simultaneously to both so that you have a backup in case one of those formats gets corrupted. The unit accepts swappable NP-style batteries. You can charge those batteries via the USB-C connection, and you can also power the unit via the HiROS connection. Now, there are also a couple of other accessories that just launched. There's a cage for this unit, so you can use it as an on-camera mounted device. And there's also a sound bag for those of you that want to have this separately and have a place to put your wireless receivers as well. So that's about it for what's new in Deity land. Let's go and take a wander and see what else we can find here at NAB 2026. Right before NAB 2026, Alan and Heath announced Avantis 2.0. This is an upgrade for existing Avantis users as well as for consoles moving forward. And I'm going to explain to you now kind of like the different tiers, if you will, and how this could affect you. If you currently own an Avantis and it's just one of the base model Avantis consoles, you don't have any extra plugins purchased or anything like that, what you're going to get is you're going to get Shure SLXD integration, and then you're also going to get these encoders here becoming contextual depending on what you select. So if you're in the EQ and select a band, touch the encoders, and then you can see that they're contextually enabled. Now, if you have an Avantis console and you have the D-Pack purchased, so you've got these deep plugins, you're going to also get a new compressor model that's based on a very, very popular hardware unit, and you will also have an increase in channel count from 64 to 96 channels and an increase in buses up to 56 buses. Part of this Avantis 2.0 upgrade is also the introduction of a new dedicated effects hardware module that runs these new plugins called RÜFX. Now, this module is available to be retrofit into current Avantis consoles, or however, moving forward from here, if you purchase an Avantis Ultra or an Avantis Solo Ultra, that module is going to be already installed with access to those plugins. And those plugins include studio-grade reverbs, a harmonizer, vocal tuner, as well as a saturator. So it's basically another level. The deep plugins are very highly regarded. They sound great. This is like another level, kind of some more studio-grade effects for your console. Also, when you purchase an Ultra console, in addition to having the RÜFX engine installed and having access to those plugins, all of the deep plugins will be pre-installed and come with that as well. So interesting news for existing Avantis owners and for those considering a purchase of an Avantis console. Let's go and take a wander and see what else we can find at NAB 2026. No NAB video would be complete without a return to the B&H mothership. And here we are back at the B&H booth at the Zoom area. Zoom previously have teased the TCA1 timecode adapter, and you know, they did it. They made it. And they're showing it here in NAB 2026. So if you are a user of a Zoom H5 Studio, H6 Studio, or H2 Essential, H4 Essential, H6 Essential, or the F3, then this is your key to the world of timecode. It goes into the remote connector port. Now that's the same one that the Bluetooth module goes into. So you really have to make a choice. You know, the decision is to Bluetooth or to timecode, but you have to decide. No, seriously, all drama aside, the unit features a 3.5 millimeter timecode input-output port on the bottom. So it's not wireless, but you can either jam sync it or you can use it as a master. So if you're looking to have timecode capability on any one of those recorders that I mentioned, then this is your guy right here. Integrates very seamlessly with the ecosystem of the H5, H6 Studio, or the H2, H4, H6 Essential, or the F3. I'm tired, y'all. But you know, I had to press my way for the love of the game and for you, the fans. But that's a wrap for another NAB 2026. Stay tuned for more upcoming content on the B&H Pro Audio YouTube channel. And as I always like to say, always remember audio.